Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Oluchi Imo, and on this channel I share tips that would help you grow your cake business. I talk about entrepreneurship, I share tips on personal development, I do story time and vlogs as well, and you are welcome back. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by and for clicking on this video to watch. I would encourage you to please stick around with me as we get right into the topic which we have for today, which is wedding cake tips. So today we are talking about wedding cake tips, and I know that as a growing baker or as a young baker, you're looking forward to your first cake or first wedding cake order, that big day when you hear, oh please, I'd like to make my wedding cake, I'd like to order a wedding cake, or please can you make this wedding cake. You're looking forward to it. I remember mine, I was really excited about the opportunity. I was nervous as well. It was just a mix of different feelings. I was looking forward to it, excited as well, and then nervous, afraid, sort of praying that the cake will not fall because it was my first time, praying that the cake will not just collapse at the venue. I attended that wedding, I stood from beginning to the end, or almost the end if I'm not mistaken. So it was my younger brother that referred me to a friend of his, and that was how I got my first wedding cake order. That story for another day. But I know that even if you're not a young baker, as a baker already that you are, maybe grown, advanced, whatever level you are, you are maybe not just getting it right. When you do wedding cakes, they don't come out nice and they don't look professional like what you see on social media. They don't look like those cakes you see on Pinterest. They don't look like all those glam, beautifully done, professional wedding looking cakes. So we're going to be talking about it this morning, and I'll be sharing tips. Now, this is the disclaimer. I am just sharing these tips because that's what I use and they work for me. But please feel free to tweak them and make adjustments here and there to get what will work for you, to make it suitable for you. But I assure you that they are very effective tips and they will work and they would help you achieve better results with your wedding cake. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. The first thing I'll be talking about will be measurements. All right, so when you get your wedding cake order, when you get your first wedding cake order, or when you get a wedding cake order, you need to be mindful and you need to have a good knowledge of how to go about the measurement. So it starts with your basic measurements of the smallest unit or the smallest size you can get per pan. What I mean is this: for different sizes of cakes, different sizes in terms of height, you would require different measurements. So for example, let me be more practical. You have a 12, 8, 12, 10, 8-inch cake that are 7 inches tall in height. And then you have, on the other hand, a 12, 10, 8 cake that has 5, 4, 4 as the height. I'm going to insert sketches or pictures to let you understand this better. But if you understand what I just explained, from my explanation, you will know that cake A is definitely taller than cake B. So for cake A, you have a 12, 10, 8-inch cake that are all 7 inches in height. It means those cakes, for the 3 tiers you have, they are all tall. And then you have another 12, 10, 8, but the 12 inches is 5 layers high, the second is 4, and the third is 4. It's not as high as the first cake here. So you're going to use more batter for cake A than you're going to use for cake B, even though they are of the same size in terms of the diameter, but in terms of the height, they are different. So you need to calculate and know, okay, what's the amount of kilograms that I'm going to use to achieve this cake? Am I going to use 3 kg? Am I going to use 2 kg? And it boils down to you sitting down to calculate. I've seen a lot of bakers asking groups on Facebook, oh, I want to do a wedding cake. I want to do this wedding cake. How many kg do I use? What quantity of butter do I use? How many times do I bake 500 grams? Things like that. It boils down to you sitting down to calculate. You know that, oh, for a 10-inch 3 layers that would give me probably 6 inches, I'm going to use 1 kg, or I'm going to use 1.5 kg, or I'm going to use this amount, X amount, you understand? So from that, you can then split. You know that for an 8 inches, you're definitely going to use less, and for a 12, you're definitely going to use more. I hope I've not gotten my audience confused. Please let me know if you understand this explanation that I just gave right in the comments. So get your smallest unit. Okay, let's start from an 8. Say for an 8 inches, I'm going to need 500 grams. If I use 500 grams of batter to bake an 8-inch cake, I will most likely end up getting 3. Okay, and if I'm looking for a 5 or 6 layers cake, that will be enough for me. So you need to understand the measurements. You know that, okay, if I'm going to 10, then I have to increase it. I'm going to increase it to maybe 1 kg, 750, 1 kg, 1.5 kg. If I'm going for a 12 inches, depending on the height I want to achieve, I might have to use a 2 kg or 2.5 kg. Please give me a thumbs up in the comments if you understand this while we go to the next point. Before I go to the next point, I want you to quickly note this, that if you have 2 cakes of different shapes, a 10-inch square and a 10-inch round, that 10-inch square cake, even though it's the same size in inches with the round cake, it is bigger and it will require more batter for you to get what you want than with the 10-inch cake. So you're not going to charge differently. You're not going to charge the same for them. Okay, you're not going to charge the same for them, because for square cakes you would require more batter, it will take more time, it is more technical when it comes to decorating than a round cake. Please do not forget this when you're costing for your wedding cakes. The next point is the baking. Alright, so when you've baked your cake and it comes out of the oven, or when we've baked our cakes and it comes out of the oven, what we do is to drizzle the brandy over it. So drizzle it all over it while it's still very hot and in the pan. Now, if you don't work with alcohol, you don't work with brandy, you can use lemon juice, you can use orange juice for soaking your fruits. But I really don't know about drizzling it all over the cake because I've not tried it. I don't know if it works. What we use is brandy. Immediately it comes out of the oven, we just use the raw. I use the raw one, so I just put it all over it to preserve. The next point I'll be talking about will be the decorating. So depending on the design, we would have done our preparation or started our preparation even before the baking. So you don't do your preparation if you have too much to do, or you have a lot of delicate items or a lot going on the cake. You don't wait until it's 1 week before you start preparing, because you're going to have too much to do per time and it can overwhelm you. So you want to start preparing them ahead, especially if you have like lots of sugar flowers going on the cake. Like, you can make 3 weeks ahead, 2 weeks ahead, and just keep them somewhere to dry, so that when it gets to the week of the wedding, all you need to do is just to put finishing touches, and then you take them along with you to the wedding, or that you set up in your bakery before you leave. But please ensure that you get everything that you need ready. At least get 80% done so that it doesn't overwhelm you. Now, this gives us time to concentrate on the wedding cake. So like I said, you bake a week ahead, and then the following week, the week of the wedding, maybe like 3 days or 4 days before the wedding, we start to do our covering, prepare our buttercream, do our fondant, get everything ready. Why do we prepare so early? So that it will give us time, like I said, to concentrate on decorating the wedding cake. Like having enough time, not being in a rush, would take time to do the wedding cake and give it time to dry. I like to give my wedding cakes time to dry. The fondant needs to be dry, the fondant needs to be, firm to some extent, okay, so that when you place those other tiers on it, they can stand and they will not collapse. And you also need that, good, sturdy, finely finished look. So you need to give it time to dry. Don't work with cold, soft fondants, and don't work with things that would make your cake begin to bulge at the end of the day. If you watched the video before this one, which is the pillow cake tutorial, you will see where I sprinkled icing sugar on my fondant so that it will enable me smoothing it out. So that's one thing you want to do before covering, smoothing it out very well. Put that icing sugar on it, especially if it is white. I only do that with white fondant, like I stated in the video. So use your smoother to go right to left, up and down, so that you will get that smooth finish. That's where it starts from. And then you cover it and give it time to dry. I usually leave it close to where we have in my office, where we have the AC on that is very cool. So we leave it there so that it will dry really hard and to be able to withstand the pressure. Then another thing when it comes to decorating is the doweling. That one is a different topic that needs to be treated on its own, but I would explain a little here. Most of us miss it in the decorating, and that's why you have leaning cakes, you have cakes that are bulging, you have cakes that are not straight, different things happening because you are not doweling right. So when you dowel cakes, for example, the cake I used in the beginning, you have a 3-tier cake, you're going to dowel the base, which is the 12-inch. So put your dowel. I don't have a particular number of dowels that goes into the cake. I would place my board on it, the thin cake board or the plywood that we make, draw the line and then fix my dowels in, and then put the second layer or put that plywood in between or the thin cake board in between if that's what you use, and then put the second layer, dowel the second layer. So dowel the second layer and then repeat the same process that you did for the base tier. Do it for the second and then put the third. So if it's a 3-tier cake, you're doweling the base tier and the middle tier, but you're not doweling the top. But if it's a 4-tier cake, you're doweling the base tier, the second, the third, but you're not doweling the fourth. What would happen to the fourth is that you will pass, or the third, depending on the amount of tiers that you have or the number of tiers you have, is that you'll pass a central dowel rod through all of them, and you don't pass it from the top. Look, doweling is a different topic entirely, and I hope that I have the time to show you in another video, maybe sometime in the future, or pray that the wedding cake order comes in so that I can show you how to dowel. Okay, so you don't dowel from the top. You put it, if you have a 3-tier cake, for example, like we've been citing from the beginning. So you put that middle tier. When you put the base tier on your board, you put the second, and then you put your central dowel in between, and then you pass your third cake on it, but ensure that it doesn't poke out through the top, it doesn't come out through the top. Of course, you need to get your measurements right. Okay, so don't miss your doweling. Ensure that you have a good knowledge of how to dowel cakes. If you know how to dowel cakes, please let me know in the comments. So if you have challenges with doweling cakes, also let me know in the comments. And if you would like a doweling video, please let me know in the comments, and pray also that a cake order will come so that I'll be able to do a practical and show you how. Now I'm going to move to the next point, which is packing. For packing, it's a different part of your wedding cake order, which is very, very important. It's very important and should not be overlooked. So you have this basket or box, or is it copy box or cabby box? There's a name they call it. If I know that name, or if I get the name, I'm going to list it. It's a tools box basically. So you pack all that you need. For me, I pack everything that I've used for the cakes. So if I've used a sugar lace, I would have extra sugar lace. If I've used flowers, you have extra flowers. If you've used sugar leaves, you have extra. If you've used royal icing, you put it. So you make a list before that day or before the weekend. Make a comprehensive list of everything that you've used, and that's what will go into your basket. So things like your spatula, things like royal icing, vinegar, colors, your gold dust, your brush for painting, a bottle of water, a plate for mixing colors, everything basically you've used, dowel rods, everything, go with it, because anything can happen and you might need to just do a quick fix, or you might need to do something to take care of that thing that has happened. We don't pray for any mishap to happen, but anything can happen, so you need to be prepared. A flower can just break, fall off and break, the tier can be dented, anything can happen. So go with extra fondants. If you've used different colors, have those different colors of fondants. Everything that you use on the cake, just get them into that list. And then on Saturday morning before you leave, on Friday or whatever day of the week the wedding is, ensure that you check. You do a check and be sure that you're not leaving anything behind. Check with that list and tick off as you check, and then you are free to go. Please ensure that you leave early. Punctuality is key, especially here where the traffic situation is highly unpredictable. In the part of town where I stay in Nigeria, I stay in Lekki, Nigeria. In the part of town where I stay, that is Lekki, we know that on Saturdays there is usually traffic. Like it's a day that is known for traffic, like very, very tough traffic. So you have to leave early. You have to leave your house early, if not you're going to be stuck in traffic. So punctuality is also important when it comes to leaving, packing, leaving for the venue, and is an important part of your wedding cake order. Now I'll be talking about your setup. So you've gotten to the venue. Before I talk about the setup, let me mention that I pack my cakes individually. So I don't stack them from my bakery down to the wedding venue. Some people do it and it works for them, all well and good, that's fine. but I pack my cake individually. I pack my cakes individually in different boxes or using cake wrappers, and then that's how I do. When I get to the wedding venue, then I begin to do my setup. When you get to the wedding venue, please greet the people that you meet there. Ensure that you familiarize yourself. Ensure that you introduce yourself. They get to know you. Let them know, oh, I'm from this company. I'm the baker. I'm the head baker. I'm the owner. I'm the baker for the day. I'm the one with the word. Just introduce yourself and let them get to know you. Ask them for where the cake setup area is. If they point to you, you thank them, and then you go to do your setup. Don't just arrive at the venue, walk inside, ignore everybody outside. Just walk and then go start looking for the table. Also know how to resolve conflicts. If anything comes up, know how to resolve conflicts. If there's any challenge, know how to resolve it as well. And then please do not go alone. If you know you're working alone from home, get a friend to follow you, your sister. Just get someone to assist you for that day, because you need someone to hand you things, to put things away, so that the place will not become like a playground or an amusement park or something. They have things scattered and littered everywhere, so you need someone to assist you as you're working. You're handing over things to them. They're also giving you things that you need to work, and then the person as well can also serve, or if you have another person, can serve as someone who will capture the whole process, like take pictures, record, do certain things for you, and then make the work easier. Basically, you're not alone for that. You're not supposed to go alone, because the work will even overwhelm you. Like, you need someone to hold while you pick up the cakes to put on the other tier. You need an assistant, basically. So please do not go alone. I believe that these tips have been able to help you. I believe clear your doubts, shed more light on that. But the major point where this issue comes from, of you not getting it right, that I see most bakers fall into or make the mistake of, is not doing right, and then not giving the cakes enough time to dry. So allow your cakes to dry. Of course, your skill has to be on point. You need to know how to decorate cakes. It's not like decorating your regular cakes. You need to put care, time. It requires your skill, it requires your dedication, it requires attention to detail, and most importantly, it requires your creativity, and then also the right recipes. We've heard stories of cakes getting spoiled just the day after the wedding or 2 days after the wedding, and the brides are complaining. Please ensure that you also tell them how to preserve their cakes if you know that it cannot stay long outside. Yes, one more important thing, lest I forget. For me, I have always stuck with rich fruit cakes for my wedding cakes. Fruit cakes, basically, for my wedding cakes. I don't think I have never done a cake that is anything outside fruit cakes for wedding. It's going to give me more work. I need something that is sturdy, that is strong enough, that is firm enough, that can withstand pressure, that I can bake ahead, that would, have some kind of stability. So I don't do anything aside that. So for those of you that have brides that would request for red velvets, they'll just say, oh, they don't like fruit cakes, they want red velvets and vanilla and chocolates. You will not be able to work ahead of time. You won't be able to, except maybe you put so much preservatives in it. So except you do that, you'll not be able to work ahead, like making your cakes. You start decorating on Wednesday before Saturday, or before it might go bad. So to play safe, be on the safe side, and then to ensure that everything goes well, you cover. If you work with fruit cakes, you see how sturdy and dense they are. Like, that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be strong enough to withstand any pressure. So I don't do anything aside that. I don't do red velvet, chocolates, or anything like that. And if you have clients that are requesting for that, you can explain to them that this is what you do, or you can explain to them that they can get a smaller one, or you can even maybe decide to just give them a very small piece of this flavor so that they can have it, since it's their special day, but I usually don't give in. I've never had the request anyway, but I wouldn't do that if I had the request. I will explain to the clients that this is what I do, because it's not going to be easy working on that at all. It means that you maybe have to bake on Thursday or Friday, or Wednesday on Friday, and it's not even feasible at all from the way I see it. So I just prefer to do this, to work with rich fruit cakes for my wedding. I believe that these tips will be able to help you, and you avoid stories that touch this year 2021 as you go about your first wedding cake order, or if you've been doing it and it's not been working for you. I believe that these tips, if you put them to practice, they will be able to help you. Now, I know you might be wondering, what do I do then if I can't? When I mentioned about putting icing on white cakes, if if I have colored tiers, what do I use? Now I use icing sugar to dust the table, but I'm very careful when I work with colors. I don't dust icing sugar on it. I just go ahead to do my smoothing, but I make sure that I also cover our head. But most cakes we see these days, or we are used to, they are mostly white, but you can add different colors. When a bride says, oh, my colors for the day are ivory, royal blue and burgundy, it doesn't mean that you need to throw all the colors on the cake. You make all of them. You can be adventurous, you can be creative, and if you know how to manage it, good and fine. You can go with ivory and ivory tier or all burgundy tiers, but know how to work with it. Okay, so for me, like I was saying, I wouldn't dust icing sugar on my colored fondant. What I do is to work with Crisco, or I'll be more careful, be extra careful when I work with the icing sugar like that. I work with a minimal amount, and then when I work, I dust them off the body of the cake immediately, because I do not steam my cakes. I don't have a steamer. What I do is just to use my brush and brush up the cake. So in all, I believe that these tips will be able to help you, and I would get good reports of your cake successes, your wedding cake successes and wins. Please, if you have found this video very useful and helpful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, share in your cake Facebook groups. Please invite them to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Please, like I said, drop me some comments to let me know how useful it was. Let me know if you would like a dwelling video as well, and then also don't forget to pray for a wedding cake order to come so that I can show you how to go about it. Until I see you in the next video, stay happy, stay safe, and stay blessed.